Alrighty, so cunnies, we want to have a look at, what I want to have a look at today is just short range punching. And some simple things you can do to increase the power you generate in a short range strike. So and why is that even important? Because whenever you're in a self-defense situation, wherever you're caught, as soon as you're in fighting range, right, you don't want to be in a position where you have to break free to generate power. You want to be able to generate power from in close, right? And if you can couple short range power with precision, you can be very effective in self-defense. So if I can get a good amount of power from in here to a target like this, so from this point here to that point there, I'm able to generate power, that's a benefit to me. Does that make sense? Yeah, so you want to be able to generate power in short range. So let's start off just with strength structure, and we'll do it, let's just do it with the punch, because this is a very standard natural reflex when fighting, is to want to punch, right? So start off, and we're just going to work at like mid-range, so like maybe at the front of your guard, because we keep a guard around this distance. So from here, you're just going to do this movement, yeah? So just sort of forward a bit first, and I want you to actually do it standing. So we still use our square stance. So we use a more square Wing Chun stance, right? There's a debate often in martial arts. What's better, a side stance or a square stance? Both have their advantages and disadvantages. In Wing Chun, we use a square stance, right? We face forward. This allows us to maximize power in towards the target, right? So what I want you to use is I want you to use a square stance, but with 1 foot back. The reason for that is because this allows you later to use a pivot and still have that squareness towards them, yeah? As opposed to here, if I'm fighting Massimo and I'm square front on and I go to pivot, see how if I pivot and punch this way, I'm gonna lose a part of my mass movement. The more skillful you are, you can still do it, but initially it's more difficult. So we're gonna start with a square stance, but 1 foot forward, as opposed to our Wing Chun square stance. And we're going to start off with your strength structure work. So partner holding with an even level of pressure the whole time first. And I just want you to do the punch first. We're not going to pivot yet. So I'm just going to go with strength first and feel how that feels, okay? How does that feel in my system? Okay, I feel that it's hitting me in my right elbow, the back of my right shoulder, a little bit on my right calf. Okay, cool. Now, structure. So when we do structure, remember the way to get into structure is center and sense. So softly draw up, sense your center, and sense your bones. It's like your bones become alive. I sense my bones and then I move, yeah? So I go structure. I sense my bones and then I move, yeah? Just short movements. Then, because this is the short range, striking is our objective today, I then want you to play around with it a little bit faster. So then you can go, move, yeah? Just faster, yeah? Hold tight, don't have to fall back, just be natural, yeah? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And then state, yeah? Center, sense. Think of it as simple as possible. Good feeling quality, power playing through to them. You can start off slow, yeah? A couple of times slowly, feeling the state on and targeting. Then you can speed it up a few times as well, yeah? So just play around with that for a bit. Strength, structure, state with a short range punch from a front stance, but with one leg back. You're going to punch with the hand from the backside. That's because later we're going to put pivots into these, and we're going to practice pivot punching as well. Just a few little ways to build up your power in short range. Get a feeling for strength, structure, state. Ultimately, state is going to be the most powerful, but structure is a good gateway because it teaches you how to not push with force against their center. Does that make sense? Alrighty, 1, 2, let's go. No, not in my school. When you do punches with your training partners here, you wear them here. I want you to get used to getting hit, get used to the pressure. Don't put it on your hand, unless it's a hand drill when you're chasing. Yeah, but you guys, Carlson loves the good punch anyway. Yeah. So now I want you to do. No, actually, let's take a step back. So before we do that, before we do that, from your square stance now, I want you to, so because you're in a square stance, you might be, your center will be slightly off. It's going to be like closer towards their shoulder. Now I want you to, you guys are all blue belts anyway, that's good. So from here, as I do the punch now, I'm turning this at the same time. Now what you want to do is make sure everything is turning into the target. So you're doing the same thing now. You're going strength and pushing, okay? And because you're putting the turn on, I want you to notice, okay, if I focus on my muscular system, right, and using the force of that system, what part of my body is activating, yeah? I'm noticing a bit of activity in the side here, around my hips, in the outside of my shoulder. Cool. That's good. You want to be aware of those so you can then sink underneath it. Now I think center, structure, pivot the center as I use the joints now, yeah? So it's structure a few times, and then state. So we'll do that one first, yeah? And then we'll go into the punching. I just want you guys to get a feeling for what you're trying to bring into the striking work. So strength, structure, state with the pivot punch, yeah? So essentially same square stance now, 1 foot's back. So we always use a square stance in Wing Chun. I'm just highlighting that this time we have 1 foot forward. Why? Because when you move towards someone, you have to step. Yeah, man, you can't just... Yeah, that's stupid. So strength, structure, state with that one, and then we'll get into the pads. 1, 2, let's go. All right, so let's do both types of punching. So you've got the first one, which is, so you've got the square stance or the 1 foot back stance, and you're just gonna, before you do the pivots, you just wanna start off just with the punch, yeah? So just with the punch. Just do a few times, just doing the punch movement. So you can go with strength if you want, strength a few times and feel, okay, what that feels like, structure, what it feels like with structure. But you're just doing it straight now, we're not putting the pivot in, yeah? And then state, yeah? So just a few times just punching, and then with your pivot. The pivot actually adds quite a bit of power because of the movement of the body. So now, when you do the pivot, it's like your guard is aimed to the side of the pad. And then as you turn, you're driving it in, yeah? So you start slightly off, but you turn, making sure you're driving it into the center. So the objective is that if you're in close here, you're able to generate quite a lot of power. Long's arrived. Yeah. So have a few goes. You can and play around with strength, structure, state. You guys have trained long enough to know the parameters of what you work with. Strength, structure, state. Do it without pivoting, do it with pivoting, and you're trying to generate that short range power. So from very close, being able to put power into the opponent, which could be even this, yeah, the ability to drive your mass, momentum, intention, energy with short range strikes. Yeah, and the chain punch is a good one, or at least the centerline punch, because you keep it close to your center of mass, you're driving it in close, and then as you get better with your chain punch, you can hit with a lot of power at short, sharp range in a defensively responsible way. So you can see how this links into our chain punching. Mm-hmm. Good, any questions? 1, 2, let's go. I want you guys to think about with your pivot punch and with all of your punches, because I'm seeing a bit of this happening. I'm seeing a bit of you guys kind of punching, like just kind of, and stopping like at the chest. You want to think like your hands going into the back of their spine, where your power plane's focused to. So as you hit the target, you're thinking, it's like your hands focusing in as though you're literally reaching in and that's their back. Yeah, so you're punching through the target. You're not stopping here at the top, you're punching through so that your power goes in. So if I was thinking, okay, self-defense wise, and this is a real fight, this guy's trying to kill me and my family, for example, this strike would come through to here, yeah? Kind of like a bullet.
Break his neck.
And try to crush the windpipe, yeah? I mean, it's real self-defense, not, you know, not play fighting with your 3-year-olds. How dare you take the Lego? Alrighty, so keep that in mind now. Just where you're placing all your power. Remember, your center, your space, your mass, your momentum, your intention, your energy, everything is culminating right to that end point. So all of your power is funneling right through. Okay? 1, 2.
I want to bring
Let's
my
go.
energy body into